Westminster and Holyrood are to hold emergency talks after a row erupted when Nicola Sturgeon threatened to derail Boris Johnson's air bridge holiday plans. Prime Minister Boris Johnson last week announced plans to create air bridges for safe overseas travel to and from the UK without the need for quarantine amid the coronavirus outbreak. But Scottish First Minister has sparked fears she was set to boycott the plans after repeatedly stating she will not rule out such quarantine measures if they are supported by public health evidence, meaning plans would not include airports in Edinburgh and Glasgow. Her comments put thousands of Britain's holidays at risk as the air bridges would only be agreed on a UK-wide basis. It comes after a furious row erupted when Ms Sturgeon criticised Mr Johnson's absurd and ridiculous political comments claiming there is no Scottish border and urged him to focus on the coronavirus pandemic. The First Minister said attempts to escalate a row about people potentially having to quarantine if entering Scotland from other parts of the UK are frankly disgraceful. At Prime Minister's questions on Wednesday, Mr Johnson said, "There have been no such discussions with the Scottish administration about that, but I would point out to Conservative MP Andrew Bowie what he knows very well, there is no such thing as a border between England and Scotland." Asked at the Scottish Government's coronavirus briefing about the comments, Ms Sturgeon said it was such an absurd statement, and added, "What there definitely is a geographical boundary to my powers as First Minister. If the Prime Minister is questioning that now, I am not sure what he would say if I pitched up in Newcastle and started to try to implement Scottish Government policies in Newcastle. And see what I've just said there? It's absurd too, which is why we shouldn't be having these discussions. We should all be focusing with an absolute laser-like focus on what we need to do within our own responsibilities and working together when necessary to stop a virus." On the possibility of people having to quarantine after entering Scotland, Ms Sturgeon said there are no such proposals at the moment, but added, "Given the nature of what we're dealing with right now, just to remind the Prime Minister, an infectious virus, I would not be doing my job properly if I ruled things out that, as we see from countries around the world, are being used selectively in appropriate circumstances to try to contain a virus."